All right, it is 5:59. Here's a look at the stories we're working on for 6 o'clock this morning. Police arrest 4 teenagers accused of shoving a South Florida man right into the path of a bus. Now you hear from one of the mothers. We are live.
And new this morning, cars go up in flames outside a South Florida body shop. Is it arson or was this just an accident?
New details in the case of the missing boys in Missouri. Was the teen held captive for 4 years, forced to help kidnap another victim?
Hey, good morning. Pamela Wright here. Tropical moisture in place this morning. It's going to slow you down, but I don't mean rain. Not yet. Let me tell you about an advisory before you head out. See you in a minute.
Pamela, Dolphin legend Don Shula joins us. Hear what he says about this year's Super Bowl and the coaching shuffle at Finn's camp.
We've got your news with half the commercials, and it all starts right now.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
It is 6 o'clock on the dot. It's also Thursday, January 25th, better known around here as Pre-Friday. I'm Danielle Knox.
Yes, pretty exciting day. I'm George Estevez. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and get you going on this Thursday morning with Pamela Wright and a look outside.
Hi there. And when you get where you're going, that will be the really exciting part because it needs to be a slow drive in, especially in Broward. You can see it's not because of the rain, though that's going to come, but it's foggy this morning. It has really settled in, especially in Broward County this morning. Visibility down less than 1/8 of a mile, so a block ahead of you if you are lucky this morning. So please factor extra time in there. And Mark Henry has already been quite busy tracking accidents this morning, so you don't want to be part of that. All right, a trailing front over us, a lot of moisture coming through. It's going to be a somewhat dreary day with rain more likely as the day goes on. A low pressure system coming together in the Gulf of Mexico, and look what is firing up out there. Now more significant rain, though the brunt of it has stayed to our north so far. In fact, it's been raining pretty much since yesterday across central and northern Florida, but it is still very cold. So this morning, waking up to rain and 40s, ugh. It could feel like the 40s here tomorrow for a few minutes anyway, after this cold front goes through. Nothing cold about Key West this morning at 77, but hazy or downright dangerously foggy. Those are our choices this morning, but the rain is on the way and then the cool breeze will pick up. With all the clouds today, we'll stay in the mid-70s. All right, Mark Henry, any traffic alerts going on out there?
No, actually, everybody's kind of behaving themselves, believe it or not. 95 north and southbound around the Golden Glades interchange. Now, by the time you get down this far south, or if you're coming out of Miami, you're not really going to have any fog to deal with. That's more centered in the Broward area. Actually, everything here looking pretty good. Starting to see a little bit more activity heading southbound. Now, let's take a look at the Dolphin Expressway. Eastbound lane starting to get a little bit more busy as you head toward the Palmetto Expressway. Westbound doing okay. We're going to shift gears, though. Take a look at your fog problems in Broward County. 595, 75, and 441. You still got some problems there, at least till the sun comes up and things start burning off a little bit. But if you're heading 595 eastbound, got some on-ramp closures. Pine Island Road, University, and Davie are still shut down. They should be opening up here momentarily. I'm Mark Henry, CBS 4 News Traffic Control.
Thank you, Mark. 6:03. First this morning, new information about what happened after a man was killed when he was hit by a bus.
Police arrested 4 people who confessed his death was not an accident, but now exclusively a mother of 2 of the boys is telling CBS 4 a different side to this story. CBS 4's Yusila Ramirez live now at the scene with this interview from the mother. Hey, Yusila, good morning.
Good morning. The 4 people in custody are teenagers, a 17-year-old, 2 16-year-olds, and a 14-year-old. They turned themselves in. They were taken into custody, and police say they were the ones who were out here Tuesday night and tried to rob the victim who was waiting for a bus here at the busway off of Southwest 216th Street and US 1. But the mother tells us that this is all a terrible accident. The 4 teens, the youngest being 14 years old, confessed, police say, to killing the 23-year-old man, Andres Seto Perez, by pushing him in the path of an oncoming bus while they were trying to rob him.
All of us in that house there, in the same house, are very sad, with pain in our heart because we're very sad to see a good friend of ours dead. The truth is, we cannot stand it.
On the scene Tuesday night, Seto Perez's roommate was in disbelief. The teens are now charged with a felony and are in custody.
They're in real bad shape. They're in bad shape.
And this morning, a mother is defending her sons, 17-year-old Christopher Goods and 14-year-old Gerald. The older one is accused of pushing Seto Perez when he allegedly refused to give up his money. The brothers, Don Goods says,
That was CBS 4's Yusila Ramirez. Some audio difficulty there. We'll get you that full story in our next half hour. New this morning, cars go up in flames at a Hialeah Gardens body shop. Firefighters had to drench the cars in water. It happened at this parking lot of Crazy John's Body Shop. It's on Northwest 117th Street and 88th Avenue. Firefighters say 4 cars were fully engulfed in flames. As you see by this video, they were charred too. Many others were damaged. Police are now investigating how this fire started.
Also for you this morning, the suspect who seriously injured a state trooper in a hit-and-run crash a year ago is now in jail. 23-year-old Robert Frederick Dimmy was booked on 5 counts of DUI. Dimmy surrendered to police after the trooper's family put out one more plea for the driver to turn himself in. It was a year ago, investigators say, when Dimmy's truck slammed into Trooper Darrell Haywood's cruiser as he was writing a ticket on the turnpike. Dimmy maintains it was all an accident.
This morning, new details on the assault at the University of Miami. Police have now arrested a young man accused of assaulting another student in her own dorm room. CBS 4's Jawan Strader has this story.
You're looking at 20-year-old Michael Anthony Anderson, a University of Miami student arrested, accused of entering a dorm room at Kearson Hall and following a 19-year-old classmate last week.
I thought it would be a student because there's no way that anybody else could get in because of security. You'd have to sign the person in, and the keys were stolen or something, so it had to have been a student.
Students that live in Pearson Hall react to the arrest of the music and pre-med major, some with shock.
It surprised me that something like that would happen so close to, and he was one of our own, you know what I mean? He came to the university with us, so kind of hits home.
Minutes after the arrest of Anderson, the student paper The Miami Hurricane Online quickly alerted students, putting the fears of some in this co-ed dorm at ease.
I feel safer that, a person who would do that stuff is arrested and, but I also think that they should kind of be merciful on him and really see what his reason was for doing what he did, I'm sure there's a reason for everything, so.
Anderson was charged with 1 count of sexual battery, 1 count of burglary with assault or battery, both felonies. Reporting here from Coral Gables, Jawan Strader, CBS 4 News this morning.
It is 6:07, and this morning a pair of violent repeat robbers are behind bars right now. Lafayette Lee, who you see there on the left, turned himself in after police arrested his accomplice, Martrell Shellman. Police say they are the men caught on this surveillance tape using sawed-off shotguns while holding up 16 local stores and gas stations. This video also helped police identify the car they used in the crimes. The 2 are being held in the Miami-Dade County Jail.
The trial of an accused child killer will begin in South Florida. A request to move John Cooey's trial out of South Florida has been denied, and it will begin in only a matter of weeks. Cooey's charged with kidnapping 9-year-old Jessica Lunsford from her Central Florida home 2 years ago. Prosecutors say he then raped her 4 days before burying her alive. Cooey confessed to the crimes, but that evidence was thrown out. His trial was moved here because an impartial jury couldn't be found near the crime scene.
Well, we have new details this morning in the case of a missing Missouri boy, 2 missing Missouri boys. A St. Louis television station is reporting that one of the boys, Sean Hornbeck, may have been forced to help kidnap the other, Ben Ownby. CBS 4's Matt Cesney explains the older teenager's role in what happened.
News 4 has learned from sources in law enforcement that along this rural road, as Ben Ownby was walking home, he was grabbed and pushed into a truck by Sean Hornbeck. Police say Ownby was held at gunpoint as the alleged kidnapper, Michael Devlin, was at the wheel. It is a startling revelation that may also shed some light on the degree to which Hornbeck may have been brainwashed and convinced to do anything, even help in taking another child. Police speculating that Devlin may have made a deal with Hornbeck to find another, younger victim.
For years, you can convince someone of a lot of things. It's like being a prisoner of war.
As experts try to make sense of it, the Hornbeck family attorney says this is new information to him. The family, he says, is dealing with what he calls many mini shocks over the details of Sean's experience.
The family is going to cooperate with law enforcement, and anything that comes out regarding facts of the case, we would refer back to the prosecution teams and to their law enforcement counterparts for any comment. The family's goal here is to have a fair trial and to see that justice is done.
Scott Sherman says Hornbeck will not be prosecuted for any involvement, but will instead be ready to testify in court and aid prosecutors in any trial.
He'll be the best prepared possible working with those great teams of prosecutors, and he's ready to do that, and we're preparing for this to be the long haul.
That was Matt Cesney out of Missouri. Let's take a look at news across America. We begin in California, where police are looking for a Stanford graduate student that mysteriously disappeared. 23-year-old Mengyao Zhao went missing 6 days ago. Her roommate says she left her apartment Saturday morning to run errands and hasn't been seen since. Investigators say her cell phone hasn't been used, and there's not a trail of any credit card use either. This morning, Wisconsin police are on the hunt for a would-be attacker. This mother's grateful her daughter fought off the attacker, kicking and screaming. Her daughter was walking home from school on this very sidewalk when a man told her to follow him. He grabbed her arm tightly, but she fought back and broke free. Now the 7th grader is back in school, but no longer walking home.
New for you this morning, just who do you trust with your tax dollars? Politicians in Tallahassee or the ones in your county hall? This summer, Florida voters will decide on a proposed constitutional amendment to cap or reduce property taxes, which is where local governments get most of their revenues. Local officials fear the change would leave them strapped for cash and unable to provide basic services.
17 years after the U.S. invasion that forced him from power, former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega is just months away now from being released from a prison right here in South Florida. He says he wants to go back to Panama when he gets out, but that could land him in even more trouble. CBS 4's Ileana Varela explains.
15 years after he was convicted of racketeering and drug trafficking here at the federal courthouse in Miami, Manuel Noriega is set to walk out of prison, but not necessarily as a free man.
Manuel Noriega, Federal Bureau of Prisons inmate number 38699-079, is scheduled for release on September 9th. The former Panamanian dictator, serving time at the Federal Correctional Institution in South Miami-Dade, got the news this morning, a phone call from his attorney, Frank Rubino.
Oh, he said thank you. He was very happy because now there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a date certain when he knows that he will be released.
Noriega, who was ousted from power by the 1989 U.S. invasion, arrested and brought to trial in Miami, was originally sentenced to 40 years. That was reduced to 30, but he became eligible for parole after serving 2/3 of that sentence. Former U.S. Attorney Guy Lewis was one of 3 prosecutors who tried the case and got a conviction against Noriega.
Any kind of celebration or victory is way premature, because as he sits in his South Dade jail cell right now, as he sits there, he's facing 2 separate convictions, one in France, one in Panama. Either way, he's not getting released. Either way, he'll continue to serve lengthy periods of incarceration.
In France, Noriega, who is 68, 70, or 72, depending on which birth record you believe, is reportedly wanted on money laundering charges. In Panama, he was tried in absentia and sentenced to 20 years in prison for the torture and decapitation murder of opposition activist Dr. Hugo Spadafora. Years ago, the Panamanian government filed for extradition. Now his attorney says Noriega won't fight it, that in fact he wants to go home as soon as he's free to go.
We're going to start arranging with the U.S. authorities, immigration, so that we can do a waiver of deportation and have him hopefully be able to leave the prison, get on a plane, and go straight back to Panama.
But why would Noriega be in such a hurry to return home with such serious charges hanging over his head? Well, for starters, he has a very good relationship with Martin Torrijos, the current president of Panama. Noriega is the president's godfather.
Wherever he goes after his release, Manuel Noriega is leaving prison a changed man. He is said to have found God while in prison and has become a Baptist. In downtown Miami, Ileana Varela, CBS 4 News.
6:14 right now. Mark Henry, how's the fog and traffic?
Well, fog's not doing too bad out there. Starting to clear up a little bit. Not by the horn, but no real accidents to report on 95 north and southbound around Griffin Road. You can see the fog is sort of lifting a little bit further out east. I think it's still pretty much a problem a little further west now on 595 and 75. You definitely want to give yourself plenty of extra room between the cars just to give yourself extra time to get to wherever you're going because traffic is moving slower than usual out there. Also 95 north and southbound right around the Golden Glades interchange. Starting to see a little bit more activity heading southbound. Looks like it's still moving along pretty well between 151st and 79th Street. I'm Mark Henry, CBS 4 News, Traffic Control.
6:15 the time. Pamela Wright is here with a look at our weather. Mark said that it appears the fog may be lifting just a little bit out there.
Yeah, in Miami-Dade, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Mark and I are going to duke it out. No. The fog advisory is for Broward County. Okay. So that's where it has been the thickest. It's going to take a little while to get out of here. So there it is. It goes until 8 o'clock this morning, and it is all of the metropolitan areas there. So we're not just talking an Everglades thing here. So want you to really take it slow this morning and just plan on the extra time. Now in Miami-Dade, you can be as late as always, and you'll be fine. No, I'm just kidding. Look at this view, though. This is certainly not clearing out. This is looking towards downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's 68 degrees there, 67 Miami at the airport, and right here at CBS 4 at 66. Look at you in Key West. Stayed near 80 for your overnight low. All right, the stickiness scale, well, we're doing okay, comfortable out there. Even with the humidity up at those temperatures, it's not too bad. Winds are calm, so that's another part of the story. Nothing to move things around in the atmosphere and get that fog out of here, so the sun will have to help us out there. What about the rest of the state? Well, the temperatures have certainly taken a dive across the Panhandle and now all the way down to Orlando and Tampa. We're finding the 40s this morning. This front is just aggravating things in the atmosphere, basically, and a low pressure system out in the Gulf of Mexico. So knowing that it's pulling down that cooler air and scooping up the warm stuff, which is the side we're still on, that is going to be where we find the heaviest rain in the Gulf of Mexico. And guess which direction it's headed? Yours. Yep, a lot of this has stayed to our north, this heavy, consistent rain. We've had just passing showers, but we'll have our best rain chance as this afternoon progresses. So some rounds of rain coming in, and then late tonight, those cool winds will move in, and you will feel a change tomorrow. The winds will be out of the north, with those winds howling down here and the clouds, if they clear out on time, we could even feel like the 40s tomorrow morning. Pleasant sunshine. Fill your Friday, and then we start to warm right back up on Saturday. Temperatures essentially getting back to normal, and the same setup with another front expected to come through late Sunday. So Sunday is fairly warm, most likely having some rain around as well, and then we'll cool down a bit by by Monday morning, and then the first half of next week is looking dry and mild as winter is supposed to be. Remember that? 75 degrees today, at least patchy fog, thickest in Broward, so be careful. Rain moving in today, so kind of dreary all the way around. Southwest winds are northwest by this afternoon. Seas respond up to 7 feet, in fact, in the Gulf Stream. Now for tonight, that rain quiets late. The colder winds are going to build, and with temperatures in the lower 50s for us tomorrow morning, again, could put a little wind chill out there for us. So it's one day. So if it's not your cup of tea, not to worry, just don't drink tomorrow because it's going to warm back up on Saturday and Sunday, and there's that rain chance I told you about.
Okay, Pamela, thank you.
All right. It is 6:18 right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of today's top stories before you head out the door. Nearly 40 Miami Beach families are not waking up in their homes this morning. That's because someone cut their electricity.
Officials say someone physically cut the power line that connects the electricity to the building located on the 2000 block of Liberty Avenue. The families were placed in hotels, but because of the busy Super Bowl week ahead, many of those hotels are booked or will be booked. One man was taken to the hospital after falling down a dark stairwell.
This morning, Florida's governor will make insurance reform a reality. Governor Christ will sign the insurance reform package at a North Palm Beach family's home. That family is directly affected by the bill, just like so many South Florida homeowners are. Their insurance premiums skyrocketed after the 2005 hurricane season. You can log on to our website, CBS4.com, for everything you need to know about this bill.
We will know next week if the entire Congress will follow the Senate Foreign Relations Committee's recent vote on President Bush's plan for Iraq. Yesterday, the committee voted against the plan in a resolution. The full Congress will vote next week. The vote's symbolic, though. Despite the outcome, the president can continue to send more troops.
It is 6:19. Coming up next for you this morning, thieves rob a South Florida business and hit it big. See how they managed to steal thousands in cash.
Danielle goes one-on-one with Don Shula, who's his pick for Super Bowl 41. And what does he think about the big changes going on with the Dolphins right now? You're going to have to hear about it. You're watching CBS 4 News this morning. Keep watching.
Get ready for a fabulous February on CBS 4.
Hey, that's the job.
With all new episodes of your favorite shows. Oprah, CSI Miami, 2.5 Men.
High five.
No, too slow.
The most anticipated television events. Super Bowl 41 in South Florida. The Grammy Awards. Plus news coverage you can count on for all the big stories.
It all happens this February, right here on CBS 4.
Rosie and the world's fattest man tonight. Breaking news. Did Anne Heche leave her spouse for her primetime co-star? Then the Super Bowl mystery man's marriage proposal. Plus, who's that star? Next Insider.
Tonight at 7:30 on 4. If you see news in the making, dial star CBS 4 on your Metro PCS cellular phone.
Now the countdown to Super Bowl 41. With the big game less than 2 weeks away, we decided to check in with our own coaching legend about football and health. Danielle has more, courtesy of Nutrisystem.
You know, with the Super Bowl about to be played out in South Florida and the changes going on at Dolphins camp, we've been talking an awful lot about football here in South Florida. And I had a chance to catch up with a coaching legend. I tell you what, when we talk about legendary coaches, Don Shula, your name comes to mind. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Danielle.
Everything going good out there in New York?
Everything's doing great. You know, we're up here, we're on the Nutrisystem program, the Silver program, diet and exercise, and we're spending a lot of time with that. You know, it tastes great, it's easy, it's convenient. And my wife, Marianne, and I have lost a total of 55 pounds.
Wow.
32 for me, 23 for Marianne. You can see in the picture that we needed to lose some weight there. But, you know, we're also part of the Arthritis Foundation, and the two of them tie in together. As you get older, you get arthritis, and it becomes a problem. So weight loss is a great way to help solve that problem.
Well, listen, Coach, I want to talk a little football before we let you go here. A lot of changes at Dolphins camp. Nick Saban leaves. He takes the job at Alabama where your son was fired. We now have a new head coach here. What do you see for the future of the Dolphins?
Well, I think they made a good hire in Cam Cameron. You know, he knows the offensive line coach, Hudson Houck. They've worked together in San Diego. They've got a great defensive staff headed up by Don Capers. And I think that this is going to give them the kind of offense that they want. They're not going to miss Nick Saban. He's going to Alabama, and Alabama's athletic director, Mel Moore, deserves Nick Saban. They deserve each other, so I don't wish them well at all.
You have been very outspoken about this whole thing. I also wanted to ask you about your Super Bowl prediction because we're running out of time. And you actually used to coach the Colts when they were in Baltimore, right?
Right, I did. You know, I played for the Colts for 4 years. I coached them for 7. So, you know, the horseshoe on the helmet means an awful lot to me.
All right, I think we've got your Super Bowl prediction there. Horseshoe on the helmet, but he also likes that dolphin on the helmet a little better, I think. We want to let you know you can depend on CBS 4 because we are, of course, your Super Bowl station for complete coverage of the big game. Log on to CBS4.com for details on the stars slated to perform at all the big parties. Plus, we have your ticket to the NFL experience, CBS4.com, where the news is always on.
He does look great. That Nutrisystem thing must have paid off.
And his wife does not look at all like a silver Nutrisystem member.
6:25 right now. The early show is coming up in the next half hour.
We've got Hannah Storm joining us from CBS Studios in New York City with a look ahead. Hi, Hannah.
Good morning. Sure, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys in about a week or so.
We can't wait. We're looking forward to it, too.
Yeah.
What are you going to buy us?
What am I going to, what?
I mean, where are we going to take you to lunch is what I meant.
What am I going to buy you? Maybe a cup of coffee.
Love her.
No, it's your town, pal.
I know. We're going to take you around.
You come to New York, I might buy you some. I'm coming your way.
You are our guest. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm headed to Chicago today to talk to Lovie Smith, too, so he'll get some insight into the game. Okay, guys, this morning on the early show, Mike Nifong back in the news. You know, he's the DA in the Duke University lacrosse case, rape case, and he's facing new ethics charges. He could actually be disbarred. We're going to have a report on that. We're also going to talk with Roy Black about that case. He's that noted defense attorney. Supermodel and talk show host Tyra Banks says she has gained weight, but so what? She tells People magazine in an exclusive interview that she looks and feels great. She's 160-plus pounds. We're going to get all the inside scoop on that. In Health Watch, we have important news for women about treating fibroids, which a lot of us suffer from. We have details on that. Plus, how to give your home a facelift without spending a lot of money. Is that possible? Yes, it is, says Danny Lipford. And we have some controversy over child star Dakota Fanning and her new movie and some of the scenes in that. So we'll have all of that and much more coming up this morning on The Early Show. Guys, can't wait to see you.
I have just the restaurant for you. Can't wait, Hannah.
What's it called?
It's a surprise.
Oh, which means you really don't know where you want to take me.
No idea. All right, Hannah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
6:27 is the time. Coming up next, police make an arrest, but first have to care for the suspect. Why he led police on a wild chase.
Hey, good morning, Pamela Wright here. Pollo Tropical, that's what he said, right?
Pollo Tropical.
Hey, good stuff. All right, not so great when you're about to head out the door. A couple of things to warn you about and give you to look forward to. You're watching CBS 2 News this morning, and we'll be right back.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm George Estevez.
And I'm Danielle Knox. Good to be with you as always this morning. Here's a look at our top stories.
First up, the hunt for this man. Police say he tried to kidnap a young girl on her way to school.
And I'm Nefertiti Jacquez live in Pembroke Pines, where an entire community is on high alert. How the would-be victim managed to get away, coming up in a live report.
Police arrest 4 teenagers accused of shoving a South Florida man right into the path of a bus.
2 of those teenagers are brothers, and this morning we're hearing from the mom who says this is all a terrible accident. I'm Yusila Ramirez in Southwest Miami-Dade, and up next I'll have all the details for you.
Governor Charlie Crist is signing landmark legislation into the books today. How Florida's new hurricane insurance plan could save you some money.
And she's not even a teen, but this young actress is at the center of a pretty big controversy. Why some say Dakota Fanning's newest role goes too far.
6:31 Thursday, January 25th.
Time to get you on your way and out the door. Let's kick things off with Pamela Wright and a look at your weather.
Hi there, good morning. Not rain just yet, but plenty of moisture, and that has turned into fog this morning. So, especially in Broward County, you officially are under a dense fog advisory, meaning visibility. You normally have a good 10 miles. You can see for miles and miles. You're lucky to see a car length ahead of you. So be very careful this morning. That will go at least until 8 o'clock this morning. We're getting some drier air in some levels of the atmosphere, so it should clear out pretty nicely, but just in time for what? Clouds and rain to increase throughout the day. Rain has been pretty heavy, but temperatures have still gone down. Tampa is in the 40s this morning with rain, so that is miserable. Not Florida-like at all. Here we find this low pressure that is going to be enough to cross over and pull us down some of that cold air. But for today, wet and chilly across a lot of the state. We will get wetter before it gets what? Better. So rain moving in today, some patchy fog throughout Miami-Dade, but especially in Broward, it is thick this morning. And with the clouds, we're going to stay in the mid-70s. Cooler yet for tomorrow. So we'll talk about that coming up. Mark Henry's been keeping an eye on the roads he can see anyway in Broward.
Well, we can see most of them out there. Taking a look at the Dolphin Expressway. Eastbound lanes coming out of Southwest Miami-Dade as you approach Palmetto Expressway. Well, they're getting a little bit heavier right now. Definitely want to give yourself a little bit of extra room out there and a little bit of lead time if you're just getting out the door. Westbound lanes still doing okay. Now, let's take a look at 95 north and southbound right around the Golden Glades interchange. We do have a crash heading northbound right now. You want to give yourself plenty of time through there. Looks like we do have a right lane blocked heading north. May want to even think about 441 as your northbound alternate right now. Southbound lane's getting a little bit heavy as well. Again, 441 probably a better choice there as well. I'm Mark Henry, CBS 4 News Traffic Control.
Parents in Pembroke Pines this morning are on guard. An 11-year-old girl was almost abducted on her way to school.
Well, what happened is the man actually pulled up to her in his car near Silver Trail Middle School, but now police say her cell phone may have saved her. CBS 4's Nefertiti Jacquez live in Pembroke Pines this morning, and you've got a sketch of the man, Neff?
Yeah, we do, Danielle. They released it yesterday, and it's a pretty detailed composite sketch, and they're hoping that that will lead to some tips to get this guy off the streets. Now, police tell us they believe this is an isolated case, I should say, rather, but parents and neighbors in the area are worried and worked up about this attempted abduction. An 11-year-old girl walking to school on Northwest 17th Street in Pembroke Pines says a man resembling this composite sketch pulled up alongside her and tried to force her into his car. But the young girl refused to become a victim. She pulled out her cell phone from her backpack and walked away. The man got frightened and took off. The girl then gave detectives a detailed description of the suspect, which generated this sketch.
Her being able to provide the composite to our sketch artist was helpful. And hopefully we can get that out and maybe somebody will recognize this person.
It happened Monday morning as the 11-year-old girl made her way to Silver Trail Middle School. She was walking by herself. The suspect honked the horn, got out of the car, and approached her, saying her mother had asked him to take her to school.
I think it's horrible.
Residents and parents are so alarmed and troubled by the attempted abduction, some folks are taking extra precautions.
I'm going to be more vigilant, more likely to go to the bus stop when the school's out and make sure she gets home safely.
Authorities are also concerned. That's why they want you to take another good look at this sketch. They're hoping someone knows something so they can get this guy off the streets. Now, the suspect is described as being in his 30s, about 5'8". He was driving an older model box-style Nissan, tan in color with dark tinted windows. If you know anything or saw anything, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers, the number 954-493-TIPS. That is the very latest from Pembroke Pines this morning. Nefertiti Jacquez, CBS 4 News.
Police in Florida City are hoping surveillance video will help them catch a team of armed crooks. Take a look as one of the suspects actually climbs behind the counter, waving a gun at the cashier. A second man then jumps over the counter, stuffs a backpack with cash from the register. The cashier, who was on the ground, gets kicked in the head as the men finish their job using their shirts to clean up prints.
Cameras capture 3 robbers here in a convenience store holdup. You can see 2 of them hang out at the counter and distract the clerk. There they are. A third man took advantage of the situation and snuck in the back and stole $12,000. Not before police, though, got a good look at his face. Recognize these crooks? Call Broward Crime Stoppers, 954-493-TIPS. This morning, 4 arrests have been made in the case of a man who was killed after being hit by a bus. Police say the suspects, all teenagers, confessed to the crime, but we're hearing now a different story from one mother. CBS 4's Yusila Ramirez is live at the scene now with this exclusive interview that she just got, an hour and a half ago, Yusila?
That's right, and it's a very difficult morning for this mother. 2 of the teens charged are brothers, her sons, and she tells us that they never intended on robbing anyone or intended on intentionally pushing that victim into the path of that bus here at the busway on Southwest 216th Street and US 1. It happened Tuesday night around 7:30. Cops say the teens, 14-year-old Gerald Goods, 17-year-old Christopher Goods, 16-year-old George Knowles and 16-year-old Byron Curry were at a gas station right across the street and came up with a plan to commit a robbery. They came over to this bus stop, approached the victim, Andres Seto Perez, and tried to rob him. One of them was armed with a large piece of wood, police say. Now, Seto Perez was standing on the sidewalk. He refused to give up the cash, and that's when police say Christopher Goods pushed him in front of that bus. His mom this morning, Dawn Goods, telling us that that's not the case. She talked to her sons earlier this morning, and she says this is all an accident.
My kids ran home to me. Only thing I knew is when I opened that door, my child fell to his knees. And all he can do is scream, Mommy. It was an accident. We were just playing around. He fell into the road. He fell.
Now, the suspects have been charged with a count of first-degree murder and attempted armed robbery with a deadly weapon, and they are expected in court this morning at 1:30, or this afternoon, rather. That is the very latest in Southwest Miami-Dade. Yusila Ramirez, CBS 4 News this morning.
It is 6:38 this morning, and Florida's governor will make the insurance reform a reality today. Governor Christ will sign the insurance reform package at a North Palm Beach family's home. That family is directly affected by the bill, just like so many other South Florida homeowners are. Their insurance premiums skyrocketed after the 2005 hurricane season. Log on to CBS4.com for everything you need to know about the bill. There, you can also post your questions about the new insurance plan.
A big change at County Hall on Tuesday. Miami-Dade voters decided to give Mayor Carlos Alvarez and future mayors a lot more clout. Now opponents of the measure are putting up roadblocks. CBS 4's Gary Nelson explains from County Hall.
The voter turnout was low, typical of an off-year, off-election season election, but the results are huge, dramatically altering the structure of Miami-Dade County government.
Carlos Alvarez kissed some cheeks and reached out to the opposition today after being anointed Miami-Dade's first ever strong mayor.
The ones that voted no, the only thing that I would ask is, let's give this new government a chance.
Last night's historic election result makes Alvarez the county's CEO. He will run the joint, hire and fire the county manager, prepare the budget, oversee its spending, something this fella used to do.
But this is the guy I was hoping would be the mayor I had a chance to work with. My wish came true.
Alvarez says he has no plans to sack Burgess or clean house at County Hall, but he could now with control over 66 department directors. County commissioners fought the strong mayor proposal. Today, the chairman offered the briefest of handshakes to Alvarez as he and his colleagues appeared resigned to defeat.
The people have spoken. The election's over with. As we discussed prior, we will sit down, work together.
The voters decided that a strong mayor is going to go forward. I don't want to run this race all over again.
But Alvarez is already facing a battle with the commission.
The mayor now has the daily supervision and direction of the police chief.
Commissioner Carlos Jimenez proposes that public corruption investigations be moved under an outside agency, the FBI maybe, to guard against the possibility of a corrupt mayor blocking corruption probes.
He's the only individual that can hire the police chief, and he's the only individual that can fire the police chief.
Alvarez says he will veto any measure that would restructure the police department, but first he says he's going to get busy.
For all these years, it has been a strong manager, weak mayor form of government.
And as strong mayor now, Alvarez vows to tackle the public housing crisis and scandal, an airport expansion that's $1 billion over budget and years overdue, woefully inadequate mass transit, a murder epidemic across the county. Finally, Alvarez says there's someone you can hold accountable, him.
The electronic voting machines still warm from yesterday's election, and already today murmurings of a possible legal challenge to the new strong mayor. Carlos Alvarez says he has met and won all challenges so far, and he'll deal with another should it come. In Miami, Gary Nelson, CBS 4 News.
It is 6:41 right now, and this morning, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez says he has proof Fidel Castro is recovering. Chavez held up a letter he says was signed by Fidel Castro himself. Chavez read that letter before representatives of Venezuela and Cuba. Chavez added Castro has been up and walking and even says the ailing leader is, quote, almost jogging. Chavez says much of this information is coming from Cuba's vice president. These remarks come less than a week after Chavez said, quote, Castro was battling for his life. Now to the very latest happening inside Iraq today. We are just days away from seeing how senators really feel about the president's push for his new plan in Iraq. Next week, legislators will vote whether to oppose sending more troops overseas. CBS 4's Allison Harmelin live in Washington, D.C. this morning with the very latest. Allison.
Good morning, Danielle. The vice president has been very clear. He says the decision is already made, but here on Capitol Hill, the debate continues. Less than 24 hours after President Bush's appeal for lawmakers to give his Iraq strategy a chance, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee shot down his plan to send in more troops. The panel's 12-9 vote on a resolution stating that the president's plan to increase troops was not in the national interest fell mostly along party lines. Only Republican Chuck Hagel sided with Democrats. The panel's resolution is non-binding, and Vice President Dick Cheney was quick to say it will not stop the administration from moving forward. But Committee Chairman Joe Biden has already warned tougher measures may follow. This resolution is now headed for the full Senate, where Democrats need to get more Republicans on board, and several have already expressed their reservations with the president's strategy. In the meantime, the committee hearings continue today, where there will be a vote on the president's new pick for a top commander in Iraq. Live in Washington, I'm Allison Harmelin, CBS 4 News This Morning.
Allison, thank you. And Senator John Kerry says he is not running for president. Kerry was the Democratic candidate for president in 2004. The Massachusetts senator says he won't make a second bid for the White House, but he will keep running for senator. Kerry adds he wants to focus on changing the course in Iraq. Now, happening today in the news. Today, commissioners will discuss the plan to stop Miami-Dade police from investigating public corruption at the county level. The plan was drafted by Commissioner Carlos Jimenez out of fear that a strong mayor with the power to fire the police director could use corruption investigators to score political points or to protect his office. Jimenez wants future county hall investigations to be handled by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Also this morning, the executive director of the Miami Museum of Science and Planetarium is celebrating the release of his very first book. The book is called Stargazing with Jack Horkheimer, Cosmic Comics for the Sky Watcher. It's a comic-style book for children about science, stars, and planets. Horkheimer will read an excerpt of his book to children this morning at the Miami Museum of Science at 10:30. All right, the time right now is 6:44. Let's see what's happening out on the roadways with Mark Tyler Henry. How's the fog looking out there, Mark?
Well, where we're looking here, fog's not really a concern, but unfortunately got a big problem 95 northbound at the Palmetto Expressway. Now, we got an injury accident. It does have things backed up to Opelika Boulevard. The eastbound lane is blocked here near the exit ramp again through the Golden Glades, 95 to the Palmetto, 95 northbound to the Palmetto. Got a big problem here. Again, 441 might be a better alternate for you through this area. Again, fog not really a concern here, but you still want to give yourself plenty of lead time. And again, 441 probably a better alternate. Fog's finally lifting a little bit. 95 north and southbound right around Griffin Road. Not doing too bad here near the airport area. Just, again, keep your low beams on. Give yourself plenty of room between the cars. We don't want anybody coming to a stop too quick. And 95 north and southbound right around Cypress Creek. Things actually clearing up here a little bit. Northbound and southbound lanes look like they're getting by just fine. I'm Mark Henry, CBS 4 News, Traffic Control.
6:45 right now. Pamela Wright's going to let you know what it looks like outside, the ups, the downs. You got it all.
We are going to have it all over the next couple of days. It's hazy here in West Miami-Dade. That's about all you're going to see in Miami-Dade County, but Broward still has the fog advisory this morning.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, yes, it does. But we are going to get some help when the sun comes up, but it's going to take a little while to clear that out. So the fog advisory in Broward especially goes until 8 o'clock this morning. But in North Miami-Dade, certainly a little patchy fog out there. So let's take a look at the way things are trying to move in here. Those next things being pretty good downpours that we see out in the Gulf of Mexico. So until 8 o'clock this morning, want you to be especially careful in Broward County. It's not like the fog is just going to disappear, but you should get better visibility. So let's switch over to the other computer, and there you have it. And we are going to have this more likely as the day goes on, that being rain, and it is heavier as we look out into the Gulf of Mexico, stretching down to the south, where we do have now a low pressure system and a trailing cold front. So that leading edge of the cool air won't be down here until late tonight and tomorrow. So we will stay with rounds of rain during our day today. Kind of dreary looking out there. Temperatures held in the mid-70s, so not cold by any stretch, but not as warm as we have been. Then tomorrow morning, that windy morning chill could translate to feeling like the upper 40s to us. We expect temperatures to stay in the 50s, and then pleasant sunshine through the day with that northerly breeze. So out on the water, things are going to stay a little rough around here the next few days. By Saturday, well, feels like home again, back into the tropical breeze with just a few showers. Your wetter day of the weekend does look like Sunday, not necessarily all day, but a good likelihood that the rain chance will grow as the day goes on. And then once again, we're in this routine of getting rain and then cooling down, which is what we expect to see to get you started next week. It will feel like winter, which around here pretty much means perfect. Mid-70s today with rain moving in, that fog early this morning as the breeze picks up, that will help to stir that up and at least improve that situation. Southwest winds to get you going offshore this morning, mostly at 2 to 4. But by later this afternoon, a northwesterly wind up to 20 and seas up to 7 feet in the Gulf Stream. Stay in the intercoastal waters today, you'll be a little better off. The rain fades late tonight, and then the colder winds build in. Again, could briefly feel like the 40s to us. And there's that rebound in the temperatures for your Saturday and Sunday, back up near 80 degrees with warm showers before we'll start you out next week back with rather mild temperatures. So we'll look forward to that just in time for January to wrap up. We start to cool down a little bit.
A nice balance, if you ask me.
Good.
Thank you, Pamela. 6:48 is the time right now in this morning's Eye on Entertainment. Child star Dakota Fanning is raising some eyebrows with her new movie.
She's only 12.
Yeah.
Yet she has a rape scene in this film. Here's CBS 4's Joy Purdy.
In my bed at the foster home.
It was Dakota Fanning's first big break at age 7. She won an award for her role in the movie I Am Sam, opposite Hollywood heavyweights Sean Penn and Michelle Pfeiffer. 6 years later, she's a movie mogul in her own right, recently sharing the spotlight with actor Tom Cruise in the film War of the Worlds. But all the fame and fortune also makes her a target for critics, who are not pulling any punches while picking apart her newest movie titled Hound Dog.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
In it, Dakota's preteen character is raped. The scene is reportedly shot above the shoulders, using Dakota's facial expressions to tell the story. Still, several groups are complaining, calling it child porn and child abuse. The New York-based Catholic League is among the critics, wanting a federal probe to see if any laws have been broken since the young movie star is only 12. Fanning's not flinching, telling the New York Times and others she's mature enough to handle the part.
I know how much I love this story and how much I love my character, and no one can ever change that.
Hound Dog premiered at the Sundance Film Festival going on right now in Utah. The film's director calling members of the Catholic League hypocrites.
I think it's sort of ironic that, there's been no real probes into investigating the sexual abuse in their church, and they are attacking us.
Joy Purdy, CBS 4 News.
Well, it is 6:50 right now. Coming up next for you this morning, parents in Pembroke Pines are on the lookout this morning. Why they're on high alert.
New disturbing details about the boys kidnapped in Missouri, what one victim may have been forced to do.
And don't forget, My 33 News on the Move is on the way for you here in just about 10 minutes. Eva Longoria and her basketball player beau, Tony Parker, are gambling that they'll have a long and happy marriage. Coming up on you at 7 o'clock, we'll tell you why the star couple is betting on lucky sevens for their wedding.
That should be interesting. Keep watching. We'll be right back.
At 6:53, let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of today's top stories before you head out the door this morning. Here's what we're working on. 4 teenage boys are in jail right now. They're facing murder charges.
Investigators say the 4 boys, one as young as 14, tried to rob a man sitting at a bus stop near 216th Street and South Dixie Highway in southwest Miami-Dade. When the man resisted that robbery, police say he was pushed into the path of an oncoming bus. The mother of 2 of the suspects spoke to CBS 4 News this morning exclusively and said her sons ran home crying, saying it was an accident and that the victim fell. You'll hear more from her ahead this morning on My 33 News on the Move. That starts at 7 a.m.
And take a good look at this sketch. Police say it shows the face of a man that almost abducted an 11-year-old girl as she was walking to Silver Trail Middle School in Pembroke Pines. The incident happened on Northwest 17th Street and 183rd Avenue in Pembroke Pines. The man got out of a tan, older model 4-door Nissan with dark tinted windows, but once the victim pulled out a cell phone from her backpack, the man ran back to his car.
New information in the case of the missing Missouri boys. Listen to this. New reports suggest that Sean Hornback, the one who was there for 4 years, kidnapped, may have been forced to help kidnap Ben Ownby. Authorities close to the case revealed that 15-year-old Hornback was the one who grabbed Ben Ownby and pushed him into the truck as their alleged kidnapper, Michael Devlin, drove. Devlin is charged with kidnapping Hornback 4 years earlier. Hornback will not be prosecuted, but instead will be ready to testify against Devlin.
Well, at 6:55, let's go ahead and get one last check of the roadways before you head out the door.
Here's Mark Henry.
Good morning. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Still got big problems on 95 right now, northbound at the Palmetto Expressway through the Golden Glades interchange. You want to take 441 as your alternate, or just kind of brave it. It's not moving too bad once you get past the onlooker delays here. Also going to shift gears right now, take a look at some more drive times for you. If you're heading on 595 eastbound between 75 and 95, take about 18 minutes and watch out for the low-lying fog there. South Dixie Highway between Kendall and 95, about 21 minutes. And also on the Palmetto Expressway, if you're heading southbound around 75, all the way down to the Dolphin. That ride will take you about 22 minutes. Things getting a little bit busier out there. I'm Mark Henry, CBS 4 News, Traffic Control.
6:56 right now. Here's Pamela Wright with a check of weather.
Hi there, another quick check. Sure want to show you that the fog is still very thick in parts of Broward County from the coastline to well inland, as you would expect. An advisory goes until 8 o'clock this morning, so we'll keep you posted with that throughout the morning. Rain moving in as the day goes on, and the breeze will pick up. That will indicate a change for us, and eventually will change the temperatures, because once that rain fades out, the colder winds are going to build in, and we do expect to find numbers late tonight and tomorrow morning in the low 50s. Could feel like the 40s if everything times out and we get those clouds out of here. There you see tomorrow, low 70s. We're back up, though, closer to 80 by Sunday. And once again, we'll have the umbrellas out more likely on Sunday than Saturday, if that helps you plan. And a cool trend into next week, too, so that's nice.
All righty.
Great.
Thanks, Pamela. The early show is up next. Another local news update right here in about 25 minutes on CBS.
We are going to be careful in the fog and go over to My 33 News now.
Travel slowly.
Okay.
Choppers up. Mark Henry be back with new information on this fog you're looking at right here.
Have a good day.